Good Thursday evening, and welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Thursday Night Throwdown. It's me, it's the big guy KG sitting in with the green screen up wrong side. The green screen that is the Midnight Rider.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I'm kind of feeling it tonight. Like, hey, my man can't be on camera, but hey, it's okay. How you feeling though?
I guess I'm like Kermit. I'm feeling kind of green. I don't know what the heck is going on. Like, it seemed like the second I walked in, everything I tried today in terms of this setup just didn't work, man. So I'm just going to just let it be, man.
Well, if you feeling Kermit the Frog, you should sing The Image of You.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Let me say this before we get into this, because we got a tight, compact show. But let me say this before we get into it. The Image of You. I can't think of the guy's name. But it was a DC staple on the Quiet Storm. And if you YouTube it, it's not on any streaming platform other than YouTube. YouTube it. The Image of You. And you'll see the backdrop of the DC skyline and everything. Every night during the Quiet Storm, that song would play. And my sister told me when I was a kid that was Kermit the Frog singing. And I believed that until I was an adult. But we are here. We got the NBA Finals tonight. We got some NFL news. I got a question for later on, but let's jump into this NBA news real quick. Monty Williams. Monty. I pulled this up. Monty Williams just signed a let me see, what is this? 6 years, $78.5 million contract with the Detroit Pistons. The compensation involved making the largest coaching contract in NBA history, but it's not confirmed. It's just in principle. Monty Williams has been NBA Coach of the Year. He was just NBA Coach of the Year in 2022. He was NBCA Coach of the Year in 21 and 22. He was an All-Star Game head coach in 2022. The simple fact that Monty has, everywhere he's went, let me see, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4 losing seasons his whole entire career. And he always winds up getting fired. In Phoenix, they were second in the Pacific, 45-37 this past season, 64 wins the year before, and they won the Pacific. But now Monty's always made the scapegoat, as usual. Now he's gone. Going to Detroit, though. What you got to say?
Well, I think you saw my initial response was he's got to get him a vet or 2 vets, because that has to be, if not the youngest roster in the league, it's one of the youngest, maybe outside of like Houston and Orlando. So he's got to get him somebody in there, and Oklahoma City. So he's got to get somebody in there that's going to help him develop culture and get these guys in place. I mean, you can have all the time like you want with Cade Cunningham, the Ivy kid, but you need somebody that's going to teach them to win and show them how to really play basketball. So I fully suspect them grabbing somebody to help with that. If one of the Grant boys aren't already there, that's somebody that I would pick up or look at picking up, because they every now and then they'll give you a couple good nights a week where they'll drop 15 to 20 points for you, but they still provide the leadership. And then I think you need to find a solid point guard, because I don't think Ivy's good enough that can get them going the way they need to get going. And then the second part about it, I think Monty just decided to take the money for chance. Stop going to contenders, take the money. I mean, if he gets Detroit in the playoffs, he already has a solid resume. He just enhances his resume for getting that team to the playoffs. So to me, I feel like it's a no-win. Worst case scenario, you comes on with what, 72, 73 mil? It's not a bad day at the office.
Not at all. Looking over this roster, because the Midnight Rider gave me homework before I got home, so I had to do homework. Uh, before the the veterans that they have on the team right now, Corey Joseph, point guard out of Texas, he's in year 11. Alec Burks, shooting guard out of Colorado, he's in year 11. After that, your next closest player is Rodney Magruder out of K-State, shooting guard, who's in year 6. Everybody else is I'm sorry. Bogdan Bogdanovich in year 8. Everybody else is either in year 4 or less. But here's the upside of Monty Williams signing in Detroit. Potentially, he has Buddy Boeheim, he has Cade Cunningham, R.J. Hampton, James Wiseman, Amadou Diallo, Jaden Ivey. He has talent, and it's young talent. He has Marvin Bagley. I think this may be a good signing because Monty Williams is a pretty damn good coach. It just does not get the oomph that he should. Well, look who it is. We haven't seen her all year. The one, the only lady.
Hello.
How you doing?
Great. How you guys doing?
Well, we here. We always been here. We always is here.
I know. I be seeing y'all. Like, I be seeing them. I catch the videos. I catch the shows. Like,
Accolades
afterwards. Hi, Midnight. How doing? You ready to get out on town yet? Like, you still
okay.
You still need me to be that your wingman?
I think he having technical difficulties here, and we might have a lag.
That hamster. It's the hamster.
He's supposed to have 2 gerbils, so.
Oh Lord.
Boston. Missoula stays in Boston, but he's about to lose 3/4 of his coaching staff. Midnight Rider, if you can hear me, what you got on that? He got a big delay. He's on a delay. So, ladies, see this ain't you done jumped in here, so now you got to put in a little work.
Well, so
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you now. I lost him. I lost him. But
so like I'm gonna go ahead and put in, all 2 cents of what I don't know about basketball. But just the topic, losing, that much of your staff. What the hell are you doing?
Well,
like what you have really pissed in somebody's Cheerios, apparently.
No, they're all going to go to Houston with Ime Udoka. So they're going to go to Houston because that was his staff. That was his staff originally when he was let go because of his consensual relationship with the lady in the office. And they made a big to-do about it. He was suspended and then wound up being let go. He's taking that whole staff with him. So that's why he's losing about 3/4. I'm estimating 3/4 of his staff being gone because they're going down to Houston.
All right then.
So,
I mean, if it's better in the land of milk and honey, why not go?
Here's the question though: with Boston playing the way that they played this year, and they were a championship contender. We're not going to lie. Yes, they got bounced by the 8th seed. We're not going to lie. But this team played really, really well with the first-year head coach. Now, mind you, this is only Missoula's third year as a head coach. And 2 of those years were in college. 57-25 this year. But he lost in the conference finals in 7 games. You got to give him props with what he did in his first year with this team.
Right. To do what to accomplish that in your first year, first time out the gate. Well, not necessarily. But just, your first year, that's amazing. Like, how many first year head coaches have done that? Like, how many? Like, KG, you're the you're the history whiz. There he is.
I guess I'm the old dog. Is that what it is? I'm the old dog.
Yeah, I mean, you went to school with Jesus, so like this, like you were around for all of it.
You don't hit a first year coaches like first year then, because we don't get too many baby coaches in the NBA ranks. Everybody's a retread. It's the same thing in the NFL. Everybody's a retread. But Midnight Rider, Joe Mazzulla may lose 3/4 of his staff. How will that affect the Celtics in their bid next season to return as a championship contender?
I actually think it helps because I think that staff stayed on just because they wouldn't let them go. So they were kind of like held hostage because I think they were all inmate people to begin with, and he got stuck with them. So sometimes you got to get rid of some people. Like I say, addition by subtraction. So I think this is another case of addition by subtraction, baby. Sometimes you got to get your guys in, the people that believe what you believe and preach what you preach. And they do it wholeheartedly. I don't think the inmate staff was really embracing Mazzulla taking the job over. I think he got the job because nobody else wanted it.
Now, looking at this staff, Anthony Dobbins, DJ McLay, Aaron Miles, Matt Reynolds, and Ben Sullivan. That's his staff right now. Those are his assistant coaches. I'm not sure which ones are going to Houston, but
and don't forget they lost what? They lost Damon Stoudemire to Georgia Tech because he was on the coaching staff at one point. So and they lost another coach before that too, who left before the season started. So they're going to have to overhaul the whole staff. But I trust Brad Stevens because Brad has a way, and I think he's going to find coaches that fit his style and his way, and he'll just make it all mesh with Mazzulla.
I'll take your word for it.
I mean, you can't get mad at a guy that's been in as a coach, he's been in 2 NBA finals and a conference final. Probably more than that.
No.
Come on, Stevens.
Okay, Stevens. Yeah.
And then last year he's the if we're talking about Mazzulla, he's the assistant coach on a team in the NBA finals, and then he's the head coach of a team that loses in the conference finals. So, I mean, the system, we always talk about systems. The Boston system is what's taking place and what's really in charge of this. And now we just got to figure out what other coaches we're going to add to this to keep the system moving. Because go ahead.
You say the Boston system. No, the Boston system is Red Auerbach building a contender. Bill Russell taking over. You got Casey Jones, Tommy Heinsohn, Phil Ford. Not Phil Ford. What's his name? Ford. He coached in the 90s. You got guys that got this lineage. That's the Boston system.
So what I need you to do is put the DeLorean in park. All right. Don't stop waiting for thunderstorms. All right. What Boston has now in place, what Danny Ainge has put in place before he left, is their system, their way of doing things.
And who did Danny Ainge play under?
Oh, Jesus Christ. He played under everybody else, man. But still, Danny did it a little bit differently. But still, He got them to a place where everything's consistent. You got Stevens who came in and took over seamlessly, and then I think it's just going to run. I just think they just got to find the right coaches to fit in this scenario. That's all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now, he can find all the coaches he want, but Satch Sanders is not walking through that door.
But you also got to remember, he took this job. When did he take it? Like in the middle of training camp or something? Like it wasn't exactly like he had the whole offseason to prepare to be the coach of this team. He got this job all of a sudden after Twitter went crazy, and Allison Feaster's face was all over TV because they were claiming, allegedly, gotta keep that in there, that she was the one. And she ended up not being the one, or we don't know for sure. So yeah.
She wasn't the one. But
so I have a question though. So since we're losing, you guys they're losing all these people, who do you think would be a good replacement or a good replacement?
Oh, that's a great question. So Missoula's from West Virginia, so I would take Sam Cassell as one, because Cassell, since Doc Rivers doesn't have a job, Cassell will be out there. So he would be somebody I would look at. What other coaches just got fired? I try to give me somebody that's been on the bench before. So I try to find somebody that lost a job that's going to be sitting on the outside looking in, and try to hire that person. Actually, Nate McMillan would be somebody I'd hire. No, because Doc would never take an assistant coach job. I would go with somebody like Nate McMillan and Sam Cassell. Get two strong voices in the room, and then you can get a couple of younger guys to fill out the rest of it. Go ahead.
You get Nate McMillan.
Sam's not getting the head coaching job.
He should, but you talk about Nate McMillan and Sam Cassell sitting on the bench. Dude, do you understand how ready them boys gonna be to play? You're gonna see a totally different team. I promise you that.
See, you also got to make sure that it's cohesive enough to where it's not, too many Chiefs and not enough Indians type situation. Are they gonna let the coach be the coach? You gonna let the head coach be the head coach, or you gonna try to step over him and whatnot? Because if that's the case, then we don't need you.
Good point. Very good point.
Kind of like Scott Brooks in DC. How much control does Scott Brooks have here in DC?
I think he had all the control he needed. I think his problem was and I called him that because I used to watch playoff games, and this team would get murdered on the offensive end, fouls galore, and they weren't getting called. And for some reason, he would never, ever get a technical foul. And I'm like, lose your cool once or twice. Like, just let your team know that you got their back. And I think what hurt him in OKC.
Okay. Now, speaking of Washington, the Wizards are hiring. This is per Adrian Wojnarowski. The Wizards are hiring former Hawks president of basketball operations Travis Schlenk as senior vice president of player personnel. Sources tell ESPN new Wizards president Michael Winger lands a well-regarded talent evaluator and executive as he continues to search for a general manager. Mr. Schlenk is early 40s. Used to work he was assistant general manager of the Golden State Warriors. He joined them in 2004-05 as a video scout. He also has worked as a video coordinator for the Miami Heat from 99 to 2003 and as director of basketball operations for the University of Georgia basketball program from 98 to 99. During his tenure with the Warriors, Schlenk developed a reputation for evaluating talent, and he has been credited for being primarily responsible for identifying Draymond Green pick number 35 in the second round of 2012 NBA draft. So he knows how to grab some gems, but here's my thing. Everybody knows how to do something until they come to DC, and it's like they forget how to walk and chew gum at the same time.
But I mean, I gotta let go of that narrative a little bit and just see what happens. I mean, I think
tried to let it go for the last 30 years.
All right. Well, unfortunately, y'all had. I mean, you stuck with Wes way too long. You stuck with Ernie way too long, and then you hired Ernie's best friend to replace him, which didn't make sense to me. It's like you quit SpongeBob, but you still wanted to have Patrick around. So I don't understand what we're doing here. So I think this is the first time they actually stepped away from the Abe Pollin, Wes Unseld nipple and decided to find like somebody that could actually be put them on a new path.
Did you say nipple?
Yeah. Stop sucking at the teeth.
Oh my God. We the Midnight Rider never fails to, that C is for cookie. N is for nipple. T is for titties. He never fails. Never fails. Now I'm gonna say this. You say you stuck with Wes too long. You mean Wes as a head coach or Wes as a GM?
I'm saying Wes, period. Like, okay, I don't know what pictures of Wes had a with the goat, the monkey, and the bearded midget. But at some point, like, Abe needed to let that go and just go ahead and get rid of him. But he didn't. He stuck with him way too long. He gave him too many opportunities. I mean, if you remember during that time, he would go back and forth with Lockery. What's the dude that was in Philly?
Jim Lanham.
Jim Lanham. Yeah, Lanham had a couple of stints that we recycled him a couple of times. They just kept recycling guys that didn't really have futures as head coaches. They were done. And I think that was their problem during that time frame. Another part was they just didn't draft well, and they haven't drafted well. So now you get a guy with a history from the Atlanta Hawks. He drafted AJ Griffin, or he traded for AJ Griffin last year. He got Trae Young in the deal, even though he should have probably, now in hindsight, he probably wish he had kept Doncic. But I mean, there are things. I mean, but even still, you got a lot out of Trae. They got Clint Capella in a deal, and he exceeded their expectations. The only person that's really digressed is the kid number 20. I can't think of his name now, but he won the max deal. He's the only one that has regressed in that group that they've drafted.
Here's a question. I'm gonna throw this change up and see if I can get the bottom to drop. I'll get you to swing at it. I'm looking at the coaches right now. Okay, you got Wes Unseld Jr. He is overall 70 and 94. Okay. No playoffs yet. Before him, you had Scott Brooks, Randy Whitman, the late great Flip Saunders, Eddie Jordan, who, in my opinion, was probably in the last 25 years, Eddie Jordan was the most successful. Randy Whitman was the most successful, if you want to go by it, but in the last 25 years. But Eddie Jordan had the most stacked teams. Doug Collins, Leonard Hamilton. They had Darrell Walker for 38 games, Gar Hurd, Bernie Bickerstaff, the aforementioned Jim Lanham, and Wes Unseld. So here's the thing. With all these coaches, and the biggest problem that every coach had, they have not had a guy. You had the big three, but after the big three, okay, you got Beal, you had Wall. Beal's supposed to be the guy, but he does not perform like the guy every night. You bring a coach in here, and this coach say, well, I can't work with Beal. Are you going to trade Beal?
Well, I think Wenger has the autonomy, and I think he's building the front office that they're going to put every option on the table, and I think they're going to figure out the best way to move forward. I don't see them having an issue with this. I mean, like Ross said, I think Eddie was the best. Not to mention with the Archbishop Carroll, but that's a whole nother thing. But
not to mention he was a Laker too, huh?
See, you bringing up old stuff. I didn't even want to go there. I didn't even want to go there. But nah, so it's just one of those things, man. I think I've gone off on your question a little bit too far, but I think the Wizards have failed in a way to recognize the up and comers in terms of coaching and even in terms of front office people. They've gone with the slow and steady hand, and I think this move with Winger and what's his name? Slink. I think this is a new step for them in a better direction. And I think Slink is more of a numbers guy. He's more of your analytics. So that's something they needed to breathe fresh air into this program, because this program didn't really invest in that to the level that it should have. So we'll see some changes. And I think this offseason will be interesting. And I think this offseason will really tell you what they think of Bill, Kuzma, and Porzingis.
So I'm gonna throw this at Ben, like, because
hold on.
You got to turn the hat back forward.
I'm sorry, I'm throwing this at midnight.
Hold on.
Because you flip it around. I'm sorry. I get confused. These all these personalities. But since you're the analysis guru, and KG is the history guru. So we're able to spot all the problems, like all the breakdowns. You're able to see where the weak point is in the bridge and everything like that. That's good. But what is it going to take, like more specifically, for them to move in the right direction instead of just trying just to ride out the wave and see what happens?
An exorcism.
Which way do we need to paddle the boat?
All right. So for me, listen to a couple people. I like at number 8, if the Wizards take the Arkansas point guard, Anthony Black. The reason he fits is he's 6'7". He's about 200 pounds. He can play anything from point guard to small forward. Just from what I've seen from the Michael Winger guy, he likes tall, athletic players, period. Position doesn't matter. He likes the flexibility of having guys that can do a little bit of everything. So I think that's the ideal pick for them at 8 if things fall right. I think the move becomes, what can you get for Bill? And does it make sense? So that's going to be the key contingency. I've mentioned on our show before, Jaylen Brown, but to me, after thinking about it long and hard, you'll be trading apples for apples. So it's like that Spider-Man meme, where they're pointing back at each other. You got 2 guys that should be number 2s with hopes of being number 1s based on what everybody says. So I think, right. And then both of them are on Supermax deals. So, and then the problem would be Brown's Supermax would be more expensive than Bill's. So it doesn't make sense as I thought about it. So that's why I think the only way Bill gets out of this and into Boston is there's got to be a 3-team move. People have brought up Brown for Lillard, but that's another situation. Sticking with Washington, I think they've got to find, and this is where I think the front office is going to come in play, is going to help them out. They got to find an identity, and their identity has got to be what they are. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made a move for a kid like Bones Highland, the backup guard for the Clippers. I think he was in Denver earlier. I wouldn't mind seeing him come to Washington. And the reason I say that is because he's a guy that Winger took it. Well, I don't know if it was Winger or not, because they have a person in place that does some of the basketball moves. But that's a kid that fits his motif. Lanky, tall, athletic, can play multiple spots. And I think, and he can shoot. And that's the type of kid that Washington can use to help spread the floor and get them better. So that's like an outside person that most people don't have on their radar, but that's somebody I would think about. They would take a look at. But I mean, it's going to be interesting because you got to make moves with Porzingis. He has a player option, and then Kuzma has I think Kuzma's just a free agent. I think, and we might have to double check that and do some research. But so yeah.
And Ross says Bill is not the guy; he's just a guy. Not a superstar. He's a star, but not a superstar.
We gotta give Ross congrats to. I think his daughter Kate is graduating this year, so give her a shout out. Congratulations on her graduation.
Congratulations! Yes. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Love to hear it.
And Ross, if I'm wrong, just let me know. But I thought that's what I saw on your Facebook.
He also says the whole Wizards program needs updating. It's been years they had a strong front office. We may need to change the whole boat. I think that's what's happening right now. You're witnessing it. I can agree with that because this team, it's like a old Macy's that's never been updated. It's the old Macy's in Landover Mall or something. You know, they haven't changed with the time, and they need to play some damn defense. They need guys that are dogs on D. You can score 135 points, but it does not matter if the other team can score 138.
True. But again, we're going back to culture. We're going back to culture and building the foundation of what this team is going to be. And that's what has to happen. Like, this is where the new front office being in place has to start laying the groundwork. And some of this might be on some of the moves they make. You may have to make a move to get a guy that's more defensive minded than offensive minded to throw into your rotation of your top 9.
I named the guy. Y'all keep shooting it down, so I'm just gonna not even say nothing.
Who's the guy?
You need defense, Mark Jackson. Duh.
Mark Jackson. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
And Ross says, "Thanks, y'all, and you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome." He also says, Wes Jr. is the right guy. I like him, but not for the Wizards. How long has Wes Jr. been an assistant in this organization for years? He's seen him come and watch him go.
KG, gotta let go, baby. Sometimes you gotta let go.
And all right, I'm not even gonna do this with you tonight. We got to talk about the NBA Finals because final tip-off should be in about 5-10 minutes, so we can rate rapid fire. The Denver Nuggets, first NBA Finals appearance, 29th year in the NBA, 38th year overall because they did 9 years in the ABA. An ABA team versus an expansion team. And I think I was trying to look it up. The Miami Heat, excuse me, are the second most successful expansion team in the NBA.
Who's won? Spurs?
No, Spurs are ABA team. Spurs are the most famous former ABA team. The first, the greatest expansion team in the history of the NBA is the Chicago Bulls.
I knew this was coming back to Chicago some way.
Of course it is.
Of course.
Bulls on parade. But
like trust the history guru. He was there.
don't hate on me, cheese toast.
When they were still hammering on tablets, he was right there with them.
Don't hate on me. Don't. I'm trying to do predictions. And I got a few. My mom said Miami in 6. My beautiful wife said Miami in 6. I'm saying, and I you can write this down, take a picture, note it. Denver in 5. I got something riding on this, and damn it, I want it. Denver in 5. What you guys got? Well, what does the lady have? And then Midnight Rider, what do you have?
Well, to be honest, the lady just found out who was actually playing in the finals. Because once again, that's how much I watch it. So who is it again? Denver and Heat?
Yeah.
Denver, Miami. Miami in 5.
Wow.
Hot take, baby. Hot take.
Like, I mean, I keep up with I catch it, in passing. So like I hear a few little things here and there, little couple of tidbits. But I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that out there. Miami in 5.
Hold on, they got something wrong here. They got Denver. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. This is the 38th playoff appearance. I read that all wrong. This is Denver's 56th season. 47 in the NBA and 9 in the ABA. I was like, hold on, that math ain't mathing. I am so sorry.
So good. I got the Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6. But I think tonight is the night that if Miami's going to get a game in Denver, this has to be the night. And I sat down. I think I was talking to one of the old guys in the neighborhood, and I was like, if you remember the Lakers when they came off, they were 12-0, and they had swept everybody going into game 1 against Allen Iverson and the Sixers. I mean, if you remember that Allen Iverson team, it was Allen Iverson and the Miracles. And I kind of feel like there's this paradigm or this equal part where they kind of have this synergy. That's the word I'm looking for, synergy with the Miami Heat. So I think if tonight's the night, Miami goes in, Jimmy Butler has a big night, and they steal game 1. But this is their shot. Tonight's their shot to make this a 6-game series. Otherwise, KG, you dead right.
Ross says, I support Mark Jackson. In my opinion, Mark Jackson should still be coaching the Warriors. He got a bad deal. I agree with that. I agree. And I love Steve Kerr even more for what he says about Mark Jackson. He gives Mark Jackson a lot of praise for a lot of success that they have.
Yeah, because he knows he wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah. And he says he has the same thing. 4-1. Let me say this. Oh yeah. See how the Heat handle the air. Yeah, you got to realize that elevation is different out there. You know, you're way above sea level.
True. But then you also got to realize that tonight, Miami's got guys that have been in the finals. Denver doesn't have anybody that's been in the finals. If they do, it's like 1 or 2 guys.
2 guys.
So there's the difference. There's the difference. But been the better. I'm sorry. Hold on. When I was betting today, I took a lot of the Denver role players because role players play big time at home. The only person that can mess up my bet, I think, is if the Joker just doesn't go for 25 or more. That's the only way I think my bet doesn't hit tonight. And if that's the case, if he does his job, everybody else does their job, we going to Sizzler.
We gonna Sizzler.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Pat Riley. This is a underlying story, and then we'll wrap this thing up. This is an underlying story. Pat Riley is going to his 19th finals. We do it all the time, but you got to get this man his flowers while he can smell them. Like Riles is that dude, man. And I think he doesn't get mentioned when you talk about greatest coaches, but when you talk about all around career, I think he's had a career from being a player and winning a championship with the Lakers to being an announcer to being a coach, assistant coach, and winning the championship to being a head coach and winning the championship to coaching one of the most fiercest Knicks squads that you've ever seen, turning Miami from also ran into a contender, winning the championship, and then building it yet again in the front office. He's had a career that most can only dream of.
True.
I love Pat Riley. I love him.
I mean, honestly, the only executive I'd take over Pat is the logo.
Yes.
Give me Jerry West any day of the week. Jerry West got the Lakers out of Ivan Zubac, who I didn't understand why they gave up on him when you need a young big to begin with. And for some reason, they traded him for like what's the guy? Mike Mascula. And I was like, why are you trading a kid with potential for a guy who's not shown you anything the whole time he's existed on this? Well, existed in this league. I'm sorry, I was about to be a little. My bad. But yeah, I mean, it didn't make sense. But it was Jerry West doing his thing, being the devil and putting that brew in your ear. Same way he got Kobe to LA for Vlade Divac.
True.
Doesn't make sense. And he made some deals along the way, and he picked guys. He picked Derek Fisher, and and the reason I remember Derek Fisher getting picked is because I was on kind of like you saw a draft night where I was like, oh, Christian Gonzalez. Well, that draft, Jerome Williams, they took Derek Fisher. That time I actually lost it because I was in the privacy of my home and I wasn't on the screen, so I lost it. And then all of a sudden, like 2 years in, I'm like, Jerome, who? We should have never taken Jerome. So
you talk about Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog. That was the same year. Because I figured Junkyard, he would have been playing the 3 for us or either the 4. He could handle basketball enough that Kobe didn't have to bring it up as much. You know, you didn't have to depend on your guards because I knew we were changing our guards out after 1, 2, 3 Cancun. So like I knew some things was happening. There was a shift. So yeah, I just felt like Junkyard could have helped Kobe bring the ball up, help facilitate. I had Junkyard as like a 10 and 10 guy. I had him as 10 rebounds and 10 assists almost. Because he'd have been the point forward.
He'd have been your Lamar Odom before Lamar Odom.
I'm not going to, no comment.
Okay.
No comment.
Ross says Pat brought in Spoelstra. Spoelstra learned from Pat. Spoelstra doesn't get the credit he deserves. I agree with that. Because Spoelstra showed that he could win. He could win without big stars. He didn't have Wade and James and Allen and all those guys. He was still making the playoffs. You know,
he's the best coach. I had the 2 up at first, but no, he's the best coach. Yeah, he started in the film room, Ross.
Film room, yeah. He was the video assistant.
But he's the best coach because he's got 6 undrafted free agents, maybe 7. That's actually giving them quality minutes. So yeah, he's the best coach in the NBA. I normally give that to Pop, but I'm gonna give it to Spoelstra. It's Spoelstra's time to reign as the best coach in the NBA.
All right. Well, before we hit that wrap-up segment, we got a question of the night. So
nothing but content, baby.
Nothing but content. That's why I haven't said anything about it all day, because it's content. This question was posed by the one, the only, Mr. Chick Hernandez on Twitter. And I got to give a big shout out to him, kicking cancer's ass. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Always going to be a fan. Just an all-around good dude. When I get me some golf clubs, I swear I'm going to hit him in the DM, be like, hey, let's go play 18. I don't want to play 36. Let's play 18. I'm going to get me some golf clubs.
If you're just buying golf clubs, you only want to play 9. You don't want to burn yourself out. You don't want to hate the game. Trust me.
Oh no, I'm never.
Just stick to put at the little amusement.
No. Trust me. And when you play golf,
just use their golf clubs.
Just be careful, because golf is addictive.
Yes,
golf is the devil. Like you can go out. I've gone out many days and played the worst day of my life, and then there's like 2 shots the whole day, and it's like, yeah, I'll be back next week. I hit a shot so bad I was behind like this tall thing of shrubs, and I actually pitched over the shrubs and was within like tap-in range to putt for par.
See, save the hole.
Yeah.
But now, question of the night.
All right, question of the night.
Hard Knocks for the Commanders. Yes or no? Thank you, Mr. Chick.
Oh, this is easy. I thought you had a difficult question for me.
This is kind of difficult.
No, there's no way you don't do Hard Knocks if you're Washington, because you're trying to rebrand and refurbish a reputation that has been tarnished, tainted, and basically hollowed out. So you need to get fans back as much as possible. Do you understand the level of connection that teams get from everybody that watches Hard Knocks? Like, you couldn't tell me that everybody wasn't a Detroit fan at some point last year just because of what they saw in Hard Knocks. And to be honest with you, Ron Rivera is the perfect coach for this, because to this day, I think the Panthers were on the Prime Video. I think it was All In that Prime had as their show, and I used to watch that. Like, when he became the Commanders head coach, I went back and watched that season of the Carolina Panthers. And when I finished watching it, I was like, I'd run through a wall for that guy. I already know why guys play hard for Ron Rivera, because the simple things he does, just manipulating like the mindset. And I think the addition of EB helps further that concept and further that notion. And I think that's the key. I think you get that all on TV, and then you show the facilities. You show, you kick to Josh Harris every now and then, like maybe making an address to the players, to the fans. You show them trying to like make plans on how they want to reset everything. I think they're the perfect team for it. And I didn't understand why before they wouldn't do it.
Daniel Snyder didn't want to do it. I guess he didn't want everybody to see the cesspool he was running. But
here you go. Allegedly. I got you.
We got receipts. But I say that. Lady C, would you watch it?
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree with Midnight / Ben right now, because I don't know quite who he is right now. Put it to the side. So you have to revive the unalive. That's all I got to say with it.
Trademark.
So it's time for them to make a comeback. Like, and what better way to do it?
Okay. I say yes.
Of course you
various reasons, but I say yes. Now, we're running low on time. Got to wrap it up. Midnight Rider, what you got about this new Caps coach? We got a new coach in DC. What you got on him?
He's a player developmental guy. He's been in the system before. He was here at Hershey, coaching some of the young guys that's already in the organization. From my people, my hockey sources, if you saw my Facebook, I've got a post, and all my hockey guys like him. So I don't ever go away from them, because this is their number one seed in terms of favorite sport. So I've got nothing but kudos and congratulations for the Caps on the hire. So I'm gonna go with it. I think it's been a good hire, and we'll see what happens, going forward. Because he answered the question today that I love. He said something about, they were asking about pace, about this team not being really fast. But he was like, it doesn't matter if we're fast, but if we play with pace, our pace will supplement our speed on the ice. Because if we're working in connection and cohesion, and we're moving connected gives us the illusion of being fast. I love that line. I get it on every level, because when you guys know where you guys are going to be, you play faster, you play smarter. So I loved it. I'm all in on this dude. Can't wait till hockey season.
And Ross says power play will be one of the best next year. I would love to get back to scoring on power plays. I remember the power outage we used to have on power plays about 5-6 years ago. Then we got it right, and then all of a sudden it went back to shit. So I remember that.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a couple of things. He's going to have to tinker a little bit with your guy Ovi. Maybe you keep him. Maybe you don't always lock him into that one spot on the ice during the power play. and you do some other things just to get guys and going. And I think he's going to be the guy that's going to help, hopefully, unlock the mystery that is Kuznetsov.
Well, Ross also says that I hit it right on the head. Dan didn't want the cameras to see all the shit that was going on. Yes, agreed. But
quick score update: 10-9 Denver, and my boy Baby Fish just hit a 3.
Okay, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we just said wrap this thing up, so we about to do it. Enjoy game 1 of the finals. Hopefully we can come back on Sunday. Lady C made an appearance. Like, this is going down in the vault because she's back. She gave us an appearance. And then she gonna be like, you know what? I'm like Outcast, baby. It's once every 20 years.
No, I mean, look, it's just, just being a full-time single parent, being, mom, dad, nurse, doctor, lawyer, chauffeur, all the many hats. It's things kind of fall by the wayside, and I hate that. But yeah, had to come make an appearance, let you guys know I love you guys. I'm still here. And watch some track. Watch some Olympics. We got the Olympics coming up, 24. So we got the, Prefontaine, like you got track.
Oh, so
you got track and field.
You got Lowson coming in the 200. I mean, men's track is gonna be dynamite this year. Women's track gonna be dynamite with Shakara coming back.
Yeah,
she's been running like she on a mission, so it's gonna be interesting.
I mean, is she really coming back though? But we'll get into that.
Go. Oh, she putting a pin in it. Yes.
We'll come back to that. So,
you know what she just hit us with? She just hit. But content, y'all. Nothing but content.
There we go, baby.
I love it.
So. But yeah, we'll revisit that soon.
Okay.
Sooner than later.
All right. So for Lady C, the Midnight Rider, Ross in the comments, and we thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for commenting. Please, we should be back on Sunday. Hopefully everything works out well. We can do this on Sunday morning, but until Saturday night, because we got the WrestleManiacs Saturday night. I'm the big guy, KG. We are the Sideline Junkies. We don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here.